Okay, welcome to the video for 4E, and we're continuing with systems of equations, and this time we're going to solve them by graphing. So objective 4E says I can solve a system of equations by graphing. And I'd like you to recall what it means to have no solution. If you have no solutions to a system, then that means no x and y will make both of the equations true. And what that means is the lines are actually parallel. How about infinitely many solutions? Well, in this case, any x and y will make the equation true because the lines are actually the same. They're the exact same line. So they intersect at every single point. Okay, so before we get started on this, we'll just do a quick graphing recap, especially if it's not in y equals mx plus b form. The first thing you need to do is get it into that form. So I'm going to take this negative 3x plus y equals 5 and rearrange it. So negative 3x plus y equals 5. I want to get the y by itself, so I'm going to add 3x to both sides, and I get y equals 3x plus 5. Okay, next we're going to plot a point at the y-intercept. So looking over at our graph, the y-axis, the y-intercept is going to be on the y-axis. It's where the line actually crosses or intercepts the y-axis. So my y-intercept is 5. That means I'll go up to 5. Put a dot. And then find a second point by moving according to the slope. Okay, and our slope, always remember the number on top is the up or down, and then the number on the bottom is the left or right. With the down and the left being negative directions, the down and the left. So if I have the slope of 3, let's make this into a fraction. So I have 3 over 1. And now this is going to tell me how far up or down I'm going to go. Since it's positive, I'm going to go up 3. So 3 up. And then 1, since it's positive, I'm going to go right. So 1, 2, 3, and over 1. It's always nice to plot a few more points, especially when we're trying to see where these intersect, to make sure that we're getting a nice straight line. Okay, now let's come down here. And we have a couple of special situations here. This is saying x equals a number, or y equals a number. So recall that if it doesn't have x and y in the equation, it's either going to be a horizontal or vertical line. So this x here is going to be bucks. So we have a vertical line because it's x equals vertical. So go to A, so whatever the number is, on the x-axis and draw a vertical line. Y equals B. It's just B is just standing for a number, but the y part should hopefully remind you that this is a hoi, and so we're going to end up with a horizontal line because we have our y equals something. So go to the B, the number B, whatever it is, on the y-axis and draw a horizontal line. All right, let's give some problems a try now that we've gone over graphing, actually solving by graphing. So we're going to come down here, and we're going to graph these two equations. And I'm going to start by graphing this one in purple because it's already set up in slope-intercept form. So I'm going to go to negative 5, and then I'm just going to count off my slope here, my slope being negative 2, and I'll put it over 1. And negative 2 is going to go down and 1 is going to go right. So 2 down and 1 right. 2 down and 1 right. And it's nice to get a bunch of points in there just to make sure that you're going to see where these intersect. If you don't draw straight lines or you don't put a bunch of points in there and your line kind of curves, you might have an incorrect intersection. So negative 3x plus y equals 5. Well, I'm going to put this in slope-intercept form by adding 3x to both sides. So this is, if you look back, it's actually the same exact line as above. And now we have 3x plus 5. So I graphed it above. It's going to look the same down here. It's going to look just like this line right there. Now, as I'm drawing in my points here, I go up 3 over 1, but it's not going to connect here. So I like to go ahead and count 1, 2, 3, 1, 1, 2, 3, 1, and see where it's actually going to intersect here with the purple line. So keep going with your points until you find that location, because that's really going to be important when you're finding this intersection by graphing. Okay, we found that intersection, so now it's just a matter of finding out what that point is and writing down the solution. So this point right here where they intersect is at -3, -1. Okay, if you wanted to check and make sure that you got the correct answer here, you could actually take -3 and -1 and plug it back into both of these equations, and they should make both of them true. All right, so coming over here, let's go ahead and graph this one. So I'm going to go to -9. Now, counting off my slope here, I have a -3 over 1. -3 means I'm going to go down, and +1 means I'm going to go right. So down, right, well, it's going off the graph number 1. And number 2, we probably won't see the intersection because of that. So let's change this. This is the same as moving the negative to the bottom. Okay, as long as you have one negative, then the whole thing's negative and will give you a negative slope. So now I'm going to go up 3, and I'm going to go left 1. Okay, so up 3, 1, 2, 3, and over 1. Up 3, 1, 2, 3, over 1. And so on and so forth. Okay, now let's graph this bottom line here. And I'm going to get it in slope-intercept form by subtracting 6x, subtract 6x. Over here they cancel out. I'm left with 2y equals -6x plus 18. Then I'll divide through by 2, and I get y equals -3x plus 9. Oops, I did make a mistake here, so let's back up. This is a -18. So that -18 is also going to make, when I take my -18 and divide by 2, I'm going to end up with a -9 here. Okay, let's go ahead and graph this. We go to -9. Oh, let's look at our two equations here. Well, they're exactly the same. So when I go to graph this one, I'm going to end up with the exact same line going right over our purple line. So what's our solution going to be here? Well, it's any solution, any number that you can come up with and plug in for x and y is going to work. So the answer to this one is infinite solution or solutions. Okay, if you go into the back here, I've left 2 for you to try. Y equals 3. Keep in mind, I did tell you how to graph that. Okay, we've done it before, but it's also right here. Y equals, you just have to know that that's either a horizontal or vertical line. And then this one, you're actually going to have to put into slope-intercept form to plot it. This one's in slope-intercept form. Make sure you put this one in slope-intercept form to plot it. All right, that's it. Make sure you write down any questions that you have, and I'll see you in class.